All right, conversations with the universe. What if I were to tell you that it is not the year 2026, but in fact, the year 12,026? And why I say that, in 1993, Italian American geologist and micropaleontologist Cesare Emiliani uh, pitched the fact that we're in the Holocene period. And the Holocene period is really the period that started about 12,000 years ago when the last ice age ended, which encouraged global heating and warming, so we can start, putting stuff in the ground and growing it. So the ending of the ice age led to the agricultural revolution, or the initial capability of agriculture, which allowed us to stop being hunter-gatherers and traveling in groups to stay in one place and become technically sedentary and start to organize society. So why is that important? Because if we're thinking it's 2026 right now, we're thoroughly mistaken. And, just a quick background here. Basic numbers, right? So if the universe is 13.8 billion years old, Earth is 4.6 billion years old. Life didn't begin to about 3.7 billion years ago. Homo genus started 2.5 million years, our predecessors, and then Homo sapiens, we really showed our face around 300,000 years ago. But there's a big gap there between 300,000 years ago and civilization starting 12,000 years ago. So, a quick recap of the last 2,000 years of why we're just now reaching this epoch of enlightenment. So, the fall of the Western Roman Empire happened around 476 AD. And within that time frame, the Romans had spread Christianity throughout the empire already, so that was already done. Even with the Western Empire ending, Constantine already did that legwork. The Islamic Golden Age took place in the 8th to the 14th centuries, centered in Baghdad, Cairo, and Cordoba, where mathematics, medicine, astronomy was bridged from the previous Greek and Roman classical eras. So then the Crusades took place from 1095 to 1291, back and forth of the Christian empires versus the Muslim empires, which reopened trade routes and exchanged technologies with Europe and Asia. So that was kind of another door opened back up. The Black Death took place between 1347 and 1351. It killed off about 50% of the European population and triggered a massive labor shortage, but also brought a lot of people social mobility up. And it was almost like the Thanos snap, literally. Then the Renaissance comes around from the 14th and 17th century, which is the rebirth of learning, classical learning, art, humanism, and polymaths like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo ruled the roost, not to be confused with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Then after that, a scientific revolution took place between the 16th and 18th centuries. And you hear names like Copernicus, Galileo, Isaac Newton, where they discovered heliocentrism, which replaces the theory that the Earth is not the middle of the universe, but in fact the sun is the middle. And that pissed off a lot of people, including the Catholic Church. And they almost tried killing Galileo for that, but they put him on eternal house arrest until he died. And from there, the scientific method was formalized. We'll go from the scientific revolution to the Enlightenment period, the 17th and 18th centuries. So the scientific revolution explained the universe. The Enlightenment tried to redesign society, which included individual human rights, separation of powers, religious tolerance, democracy, etc. It led to things like the American and French revolutions. And then the Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries, where steam engines were invented, factories, mass production, railroads. So in a nutshell, humanity reorganizes around machines versus just being focused on land and agricultural solely. So boom, we're followed by 2 world wars, and then the nuclear age. And then the nuclear age of the 50s technically triggers the Anthropocene period, which is a whole other discussion. But hey, we are not in the year 2026. We are rarely in the year 12,026. So that's important, because if we truly don't see ourselves for where we're at in the universe, we really don't comprehend what's happening. And with all the political divides and all the social media warfare going on, we are literally still figuring ourselves out. And the problem with that is it takes a process. So if it took us 300,000 years to go from Homo sapien to 12,000 years ago to become civilized, we have a long way to go. But faith spread the knowledge. And remember, do your own research. Don't take nothing I say for fact. Do your own research and learn something new every day.